right, we're back, and today, what are we going over, Rich?
Either stuff to do before winter or fall tune-up.
Let's call it a fall cleanup checklist. Why don't we do that?
All right.
Oh, cool.
Fall cleanup checklist.
Right after this.
Here I come to save the day.
The Mighty House crew is on the job. This is
Mighty House.
All right, we're back, and we're going to talk about a fall checklist or how to get your house ready for winter, whatever you want to call it. It's basically the same thing. But before we do that, make sure you hit that subscribe button, ding the bell, click it, do all that fun stuff. And then, of course, you can always leave us a note down there below, too. So go ahead and do that. And let's go ahead and get started with number one. Rich, what's the number one thing we should do?
Well, depending on where you live,
get
your furnace tuned up.
Oh, yeah. Get that checked now.
So a lot of companies will offer cleaning checks for $79, $80.
No, $29.99.
No, $29.99 is usually a loss leader to get their foot in your door.
Right.
And I'm not bad talking to anybody, but realistically, talk to friends and neighbors, whatever, and just, think about the time. If you had to go to drive somebody's house just to go look at something, clean it up, put it all back together and drive home, would you do it for $29?
Yeah, you can't start your truck for that.
They won't either. So be realistic on what you expect to pay. Right. But before you bring them in your house, when you reach out to them, you could ask exactly what they do.
What's included?
Because what do we want to do? We want to clean the burners.
Yep.
We want to check the O2 level that's being given to those burners for optimum flame, right? So we have the cleanest burn you can get, whether it's natural gas, propane. Electric's easier. You just sort of just vacuum off the elements.
Right.
But no, seriously. And then you want to know, are you checking the drains? Are you cleaning the dehumidifier if you have one? Furnace filters, there's a lot of things that go in there. So ask them, what are you doing for $29, $49, $89, whatever it is?
Right. And you should be paying anywhere from $100 to $150. Then you know that you're not going to be getting someone just comes in and goes, oh, well, you need this and you need this and you need this, and they're constantly trying to sell you something. Because somebody that charges between $100 to $150 for a furnace checkup is actually just coming there just to do that, and they're not going to be trying to sell you something else so that they can make their money.
Because they should be making a few dollars on a furnace checkup, and if they can do 4 of those a day, then they're making a decent living, and that's all you're trying to do.
Sure.
Right?
And that's exactly what you're looking for. So
yeah.
And also make sure they clean it out, vacuum it, get that kind of stuff. And there's also the pressure test that they can do to make sure that the airflow is working properly through there also, so that your ductwork is actually flowing the right amount of air. So,
I don't disagree with that, but I wouldn't call that a checkup item. That pressure balancing and duct balancing should have been done a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, the static pressure test, they want to make sure nothing new is coming up, that that everything's flowing properly. Yeah. So if they do a static pressure test, that's great. I would say 80% of the guys you're going to call won't even know what that is. So
right.
So
skip that chapter.
Right. Yeah. So if they do a static pressure test, that's great. That's somebody that's a quality technician that's going to come in and do a great job for you. Okay. Number 2.
The next thing is check the caulking around all your windows.
Yep.
It's especially depending on the type of windows you have and the age of your windows. If you have vinyl windows, there's not a big fan really of vinyl replacement windows, or even vinyl original windows, but vinyl expands and contracts greatly with temperature. So from last winter, when everything had shrunk, it can pull that caulking loose. All summer it expands, and now we're going to get cold temperatures again, and it's going to start shrinking again. You want to make sure that the caulking is all in good shape. So if it's not, it's something you want to go in there with a utility knife or razor, cut out and re-caulk.
Right. So, and you can see right here, he's caulking the window to the drywall return. But if you've got casings, where's that? Right in, like if you have a casing on there, make sure you caulk the wall to the casing also, because that draft can come behind the jamb and sneak out behind the casing. So caulk that casing to the wall. And what I see everybody misses is the top. The piece that goes across the header, caulk the top of that, because that's where you see all these little whiffs of dust and dirt when somebody hasn't painted it in a while.
Well, that's because nobody can see up there.
Right.
What do you do if you have loose panes in the window?
Loose panes?
Glazing compound.
Then you want to glaze. There's a glazing compound.
So you can go to Ace and True Value both carry cans of glazing compound, and you get a putty knife. And it's not very difficult to do.
No.
Do one side of the window at a time, break the stuff out. They make glazer points, which are little wood triangles. You push those in, that holds the glass tight so the glass doesn't move around. You just take this putty, roll it in your hands, press it in there, and take the putty knife with your finger and just come right down on a 45. And it'll not only smooth it out, it'll cut off the excess off the glass and off the frame. It takes about 15 minutes to really get pretty decent at it.
Yeah.
It's not hard at all.
Right.
The big thing is clean it out, glazer points, and then go for it.
Right. And one thing I like to do is take a putty knife that's got a little flex to it and sand both sides of it. Just take 100 grit sandpaper and sand it. Make sure it's nice and clean. It doesn't have any other paint or any other residue on it. So that way, you got a nice clean putty knife. You can wipe it down with some paint thinner and then just get after it. It'll give you a nice smooth finish on there.
I haven't done that in years.
Yeah, I know. It comes right back though. You can take care of it.
Yeah. Well, and it's cool. If you hold it just right, you get your 45s in the corners, and it's, I don't know. There's something, it's like cutting grass. There's something kind of soothing about it. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just strange.
Yes, we are. Next up on the list here is reverse your ceiling fans.
Holy crap. Those are nice ones.
That's a cool one. Yeah, see that?
Do you actually have to rewire that one, flip a switch, or just switch the pulleys?
Yeah, you flip the pulleys on this. So now then it would be the pulleys like in a figure eight.
Yeah.
You tell the guy on the bicycle to go the other direction.
Pedal backwards.
Yeah. That's what that one looks like. But no, you want to reverse which direction should my ceiling fans go in the winter?
You want the air to come up. You want it sucking the warm air up in the winter. So that way the air goes across your ceiling, down the walls, and circulates around. Because if you have it blowing down, then that air is blowing across your skin and it's going to feel cold. So if it's going up, then it's circulating that warm air off the ceiling back down to the floor around the perimeter of your room versus down through the middle. And then
Gotcha.
During the summer, you want that pointing down.
So instead of saying counterclockwise or whatever, because you might have a fan that just has reverse blades or something. I don't know. You just want to make sure the fan is blowing up towards the ceiling in the winter. What did he say?
Southern hemisphere.
It goes back.
Yeah. Well, we have a lot of watchers in Australia, so it's possible.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you don't know. The ceiling fans turn backwards there in the winter, right?
Well, in the winter and summer there.
Oh, see, and there's the problem. There's the problem.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So if you're in Australia, clockwise. If you're in America, counterclockwise for when you watch this video.
Yeah, there you go.
And we get in trouble any which way.
That's right. So, and then of course our standard picture that we use for every gutter cleaning,
Clean
whatever.
the gutters and downspouts.
Right.
I know it. It's Mike Novak.
It's right. We got Mike Novak. We got this picture of him up on the roof. So there you go. There's Mike Novak cleaning out his gutters. And you don't want to do this. See how his knee is like on the leaves? It's very slippery like that. You don't want to do it. You might want to put a ladder.
Especially when you got your other boot hanging off already.
Yeah, see, can I get out of the way? Yeah, look at that. He's just got that foot hanging out there.
Yeah, that's not bueno.
Well, at least the knee, as he keeps sliding, his knee will go in the gutter, and he'll rip the gutter off as he comes off of it.
Well, he's got Peggy down there.
Yes, because those aluminum ferrules will hold him up.
Oh, wait, yeah, there's Peggy's arm sticking up right there, ready to catch.
Peggy's a spotter.
Yeah, I never noticed the spotter down there.
I never noticed that before either in that photo.
No, so there you go, Mike. You're fine. Go ahead. Just keep doing that. You're good. So get those gutters cleaned out. You make sure you clean out the downspouts too. Don't just clean out the gutter. Make sure you take a hose up there, rinse them out. Make sure that water flows down the downspouts and it comes out nice and clean. And that way you know they're going to flow properly.
What a great segue. Speaking of hoses.
Yeah, hoses.
Turn off your exterior hose bibs.
Oh.
If you do not have frostproof, which that's a frostproof hose bib.
Correct. It's got the
that would typically go inside your house a good 14, 16 inches, which keeps it from freezing because the valve is actually inside the heated or conditioned space. However, leaving the hose attached does defeat that purpose.
That's right.
So make sure if you have an old kind of boiler valve type hose bib,
Yeah.
turn the water off in the house that goes to it. And regardless of what type you have, take the damn hose off.
Right. Right. And if you have the boiler one, open it outside, turn it off inside, let it drain, and then close it again. That way you don't have to worry about it freezing
Right.
and breaking.
Well, I see that so often. People just keep putting the hose back on there, and it's
Yep. Well, the hose stays on there, and then as long as the valve is off, it's okay. But then spring comes along, and it freezes within that 14-inch part in the wall. So then
right.
you
have
come
a
in,
split inside the house.
and then you turn it on, and then you just flood your house.
That's
So-
right.
It's not good. So make sure you turn it off and take the hose out. And what do you got next?
Pruning.
Pruning.
So yeah, so no pruning, no cutting Christmas trees from neighbors' yards. So I'm going to defer back to the video we just did with Mike Novak
That's
about taking care of your stuff in the fall, and you and I are both of the same where we just whack them off.
That's right.
Everything goes into the recycle or the compost heap.
Right.
And Mike said, no, don't do that. He says you can trim directly after something blooms or when it's dormant, but you watch for the budding because certain species,
Yep.
if they'll bud early, and if you trim them late, no blossoms for you next year.
Right. Right.
So you might want to
bushes that
double
do that.
back on that whole Mike Novak thing, but I was always taught to just prune when they were dormant.
Right. So I've got a row of bushes in my yard, and if I cut them right now, I won't have any flowers on them in the spring. So I let them go, and then after they bloom in the spring, then I chop them back.
Then you trim them.
Right.
So yes, we continually learn.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. That's exactly it. Okay. Next up, don't prune.
Chimney sweeping.
That's right. There you go. You get the top hat out. You get the big brush, tuck it underneath your arm, and you walk along the ridge. And there you go.
Have a
over to the
union.
chimney. What's that?
They have a union.
The Chimney Sweep Union?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. President Dick Van Dyke.
Oh. There you go. There you
Hey,
go.
Sonar knew where I was heading with that. I think that is Dick Van Dyke up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you live in an area where you burn a lot of wood in your fireplace for, heating, could be primary or even secondary heating.
Yep.
You really do need to get that cleaned out once in a while. Do not use things like, I don't know, I'm not a big fan of chimney sweeping logs. I just don't think that they can actually crystallize creosote and make it go away.
Right.
And what happens is if you build up all that creosote inside that chimney without scraping it and getting rid of it, you throw a little paper in there, Christmas wrapping,
Right.
that goes up there. That's what ignites it and creates the chimney fires.
Right. You
So,
get a little spark.
Good
goes
idea to
up.
get that clean, but also make sure the smoke shelf is clear, the damper closes properly. It's kind of like a furnace clean and check. They're not just going to come out with a brush and do your chimney.
Right.
They're going to make sure your damper closes because that has a piece of fire rope on it for a seal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not doing that and you close your, don't have a fire going, you close that, you could have cold air falling in that, so just wasting money.
That's right. So, and then also,
Chimney sweep.
this one does not have a cap on it, but I like putting chimney.
That's because
caps
it's
on.
probably not a real fireplace.
Yeah. So make sure you put a
It's a
cap on
movie
there
set.
too. That'll help a lot.
Yes.
Yeah, Santa Claus won't make it down the chimney, but that's okay. He'll find another way in.
So you want to take a look at window and door weather stripping.
Yes. Like that.
So go around the house, take a look at weather stripping,
Right
make sure
there.
it's in good shape.
Yep.
It's one thing I will admit the box stores usually do have is multiple types of weather stripping that, and we'll do that in another program, but it makes it easy to replace. Now
Right.
that is one of my pet peeves. That's just a standard exterior door
Yep.
with the diamond shaped little feeder on foam.
Right.
And I don't know why people paint that all the time when it is so easy to pull out, let the paint dry and replace it.
Yep. And slide it back in when you're done.
Yeah, and it looks so much more professional than having paint or tape lines.
Well, and if you did paint that and you get it on there, now that it's stiff and hard and it doesn't do its job. So,
Right.
once it's stiffened up and it's not flexible anymore, then it can't seal. It's just going to be bunched up.
Yeah. Well, it's the same thing with the
Exactly.
weather stripping too. If you've got holes in your weather stripping, when the rain or snow melts, fills that strip up.
Yep.
It's just sponge in there.
Oh, sure.
So then it freezes overnight. You're never going to be able to close your door.
Or won't
Right.
be able to open it if it's already closed
Exactly.
and it's frozen shut.
And most of this stuff's very, very inexpensive. I mean,
Yes.
you might spend $25 on the three pieces you need for a 3068 door.
Yep.
But the amount of air leakage that you've prevented probably would save you, $20 a month in HVAC or in heating costs. So
Right. And it's
kind of
real
crazy
easy.
not to do it.
Close the door. If it's rattly, if it's not tight, then you know you've got an issue. Stand back, turn off the lights in the house, look outside, look through the outside. If you see light coming around, get down on your hands and knees and look at the threshold. A lot of times you'll be able to see right outside. People don't even get down and check that stuff. So look at it
Right.
really close. A lot of thresholds are adjustable. You can adjust those up and down and get them nice and tight. Make sure that's sealing against the door properly. And the same with your windows. Close them, lock them, and see if they move up and down. If they're rattly and can still be moved a little bit, then you want to add some weather stripping to those to make sure you seal them
Which
up
is
and
why
make
I
them tight.
prefer to use casement windows, because I've never seen a single or double hung on a submarine. Always some kind of swing door that has weather stripping.
That's right. That's exactly
All
how it works. Okay,
Moving along, carbon monoxide detectors.
very important.
So, we talk all the time about, what is it? Time change, check your batteries and your smoke detectors, carbon monoxide detectors.
Blah, blah.
But realistically, going into the winter, into your fall, into your heating season, if you love to cook and you've got an exhaust fan running in the kitchen and you've got an exhaust fan running in a bathroom, you could negatively pressure your home. Why? Because you had just replaced the weather strips on all the windows and doors. You made sure the fireplace is tight.
Yep.
So now guess where the air comes from? It backdrafts through your water heater or your furnace.
Yep.
And now you can have carbon monoxide build up in areas of your home.
Correct.
So what Ron has pictured there is a low level carbon monoxide detector. And explain quickly the difference.
This is a low level carbon monoxide detector. You can see that's 10. This will alarm at 10 parts per million. And these are the ones I like to use, and these are the ones I get our clients, because those are going to let you know ahead of time. OSHA requires them to go off, or firemen and stuff, they have to have breathing apparatus on at 35 parts per million, and the ones you buy at the store don't go off until 65 or 70 parts per million. So
After 4 hours.
4 hours. This goes off right away. So
Right.
There
There is something to be said there.
Right. So here's the other problem with that. If you have one of those that's waiting until 60 or 70 parts per million, and 3.5 hours, somebody walks in the door, lets in some fresh air, that resets that clock. Now it has to go 4 hours again. So you could
Right.
spend days, weeks in your house with these high levels of carbon monoxide, and you don't know about it. All you know is you've got
Right.
headaches, you're sick to your stomach,
Or tired or whatever, and
right.
everybody blames the turkey.
Right.
Like the turkey made you tired.
Yeah. What's that stuff called that's in there?
Tryptophan.
Tryptophan
There you go. So it's not the tryptophan.
or something thereof.
It's the carbon monoxide. And if you're doing a lot of
That's right.
cooking, crack the kitchen window, so that way you get some fresh air in. So
Exactly.
carbon
So,
monoxide
and the final
detector-
thing,
Go ahead.
number 10 on our list
Yep.
is if you don't have double pane glass, or let's say you need new windows and you know it and you just can't afford them,
Right.
put the window kits on,
Yep.
because that silly double-sided tape and shrink to fit plastic
Yep.
actually works.
Yep.
Amazing.
It does
Now,
an
well,
amazing
Ron
job.
and we've done many shows on how insulation is overrated and air sealing is underrated.
Mm-hmm.
That, by air sealing, you can save more money than you can by putting thicker air filter all in your house.
Yes. And
So.
these goofy kits work. I've put them on before, and then once you're done and the wind's blowing, you can see them moving back and forth. So they're actually working. It looks like a snare drum.
The sail.
Yeah.
Or drum. Yeah. They do work. So they will hold that cold air outside of your home, and it will help save you money. And those kits are very easy. So,
Yep.
I never was a big fan to start with, but it depends on the windows. Like I said, if you can't afford new windows and you need them, definitely do it.
Yep. It makes a big difference. So that's our quick top 10 ways to get ready for winter or prepare for fall, however you want to call it. And hopefully that takes care of it. So keep it square and level.
Until next time.
Until next time. There you go. See, I had to think about it. I hesitated. But
it was a fine job.
It's a fine job. It was a fine job.